Try to relax and try to let go of any stiffness, tension in your body, mind. Make yourself as comfortable as possible and feel the weight of your body on cushions, chair, and surrounding. And keep your mind of attention to the breath as you inhale and exhale, watching, observing it mindfully, and being aware. As simple as that. And also trying to be mindful and aware when we breathe in and out. If the breath is shallow, being aware it's shallow. It is a deep breath, being mindful and aware of that. If it's warm, as you breathe in or out, being aware. So warmness, warm breeze. So whatever that happens naturally with the breath, being mindful and aware of that. And then we can try to have good motivation for being here. We can think, contemplate, for example, as long as we are being controlled by our own defilements, those disturbing emotions, we can never find true lasting peace and happiness. No matter what the external conditions, situations, we will always find reason to be unhappy. We will always find reason to have problem, conflict, unhappy, agitated mind. Therefore, you want to find not just temporary, but lasting, true inner peace, happiness, joy. It is so important to work with our mind and reduce and overcome those defilements, those disturbing thoughts, feelings, emotions. And not only just for ourselves, but also to be more helpful, beneficial for others. Less those disturbing emotions we have, the more we are able to help others. The less we hurt and harm others. In order to reduce and eliminate those disturbing negative emotions, thoughts, feelings, the defilements. We need to cultivate the wisdom that lies in the ultimate reality, truth, the right view, together with the right intentions. And in order to have a strong practice of right intentions and the right view, the wisdom, we need to have stronger foundations of samatha, single-pointed concentrations, with the support of right mindfulness, right effort, right concentrations. And in order to have a strong practice of mental discipline, of meditative concentrations, single-pointed meditative concentrations, and the wisdom, we need a strong foundation of ethical discipline of right action, speech, and livelihood. Therefore, the key for our own lasting peace and happiness, and to be more help, benefit to others, and less harm to others, is integrating and engaging in the practice of the Eight Noble Path in our life. And as part of the right view, they cultivate true love, compassion, both in the mind. The right intentions of it. And in order to practice, integrate the Eight Noble Path in our everyday life, we need to be encouraged, inspired, and reminded of the importance of practices. And for that, that's why we have come here together to listen, reflect, contemplate. And may our act of coming together, listening, reflecting, contemplating, may all this become cause and condition to improve ourselves as a person into the path, continue to make more and more progress on the path, and continue to be more source of more and more help, benefit, happiness to others and oneself. And eventually, may it be cause and condition to achieve our highest potential, the fully awakened state. So we can be greatest help, benefit to each and every sentient beings.
We'll start with our opening prayers, praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, which we'll do 3 times in English. To the founder,
The completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect knowledge and perfect conduct, God, preserve the lives of human beings, to you the complete and fully awakened one. The acknowledged standards of the glorious conqueror, the subduer and the shotgun clan, and prosper make offerings and go for refuge.
to the founder,
The indulgence to the destroyer, the one gone beyond, the most completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and perfect conduct, the contact to bring down the human beings to attain Peter of gods and human beings. You, the completely and fully awakened one. If thou canst the destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer, the shocking plan. I prostrate my offerings to your refuge.
To the founder of the
in-house transcendence glory, the one gone beyond, the furthest destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, complete in knowledge and unique conduct. To bring guide the human beings to attain kingdom of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the shadow plan. I prostrate my offerings to your refuge.
And we'll do the short mandala offering once in English. This ground anointed with perfume, sprinkling with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, four continents, silently. I imagine it from the beautiful conflict. May all the beings enjoy this good land. And on the next page, we will do the refuge and bodhicitta prayer, once in English, twice in Tibetan. I go for refuge until I die to the divine spirits. I am now sacred to the seat of the Dharma. May I be delivered of the glory and all sentient beings. Don, give to the minds of gifts of Allah. Son to God, the eternal secret. God is church, give the son and give the love is the son. Don, give so that's John to the secret. God is church, give the son and give the love is the son. So in the represent watch the prayer, sometimes you might hear me a little bit different than what you are saying. Like I said, like church in your like training. So that is when I say it's by the measure of explaining the teachings, whereas you're listening the teachings. That is the difference. And also the prayer change a little bit. Normally when you recite, then and that by the merit of practice such as generosity and so on. Here we say by the merit of listening to the Dhamma. So that small words changes according to otherwise is. So if you are just wondering, sometimes you hear or you see small slight changes and what is happening. Yeah. So today the subject might be something that you are not expecting. I think you might be thinking that I'm going to discuss on Four Noble Truth. I think we completed last week, and I did discuss with Eloise what I should do these last sessions. And Eloise told me it might be nice to do precision and rebirth. In terms of lumbering the gratitude path, one of the first subjects is the precision and rebirth. And also in terms of, not only in terms of explanation, also same in terms of
practice meditations, one of the practice or meditation we try to do in Precious Human Rebirth. And through that, we begin to, through that meditations, the point is through that kind of contemplation meditation that we begin to feel the preciousness of this life. You know, how precious this life is, how much potential there is in this life in terms of our spiritual path, in terms of journey towards our spiritual path. You know, and if we realize how precious, how much potential we have, you know, how rare it is, you know, how not easy it is to have such precious life with all the best conditions to engage in our practice, then we will make more of it. We will not waste it. You know, when you don't realize the value and potential of something, then you could waste it. But when you understand any object, anything, when you see true value and true potential of that, then you will make most of it. You know, you will make most of it. You will not waste it. Just like if you find a gold or let's say a diamond, if you don't understand the worthy or the value of that, the worthy and the value of that, if someone says, you know, we exchange for a 1 meal, you might just exchange, oh, so happy that I could get a 1 meal for this stone. Seems like you will be so excited. Oh, by giving this stone to that person, I'm going to get 1 meal. And you waste. But if you understand the value of that, then, you know, it could be something that can support your whole life, not just 1 meal also. And so that is similarly, you know, and then we begin to appreciate, feel grateful, despite all different challenges that comes in our life. You know, that is part of the life, samsaric life. There are going to be a lot of challenges, difficulties, up and down. That's a part of the whole life. You know, no one has very smooth or always going up. Everyone goes to the up and down. That's a samsaric life. Everyone has certain level of challenges and difficulties on different levels. You know, but despite all of that, when you see the full potential and the value, and you know, you will always appreciate and cherish and make most of it. You know, and trying to make best out of this life. So that is the why. At the very beginning, it started with meditation and practice on precious human life. In generally, you know, human life is precious, you know, and it is precious, especially for of course, every life is precious, but especially human life is more precious. From one point of view and for one purpose. And that is because human beings have certain different kind of brain. And so with that kind of brain, human being has more ability to reasoning, using reasoning and logics, you know. Whereas many other living beings, they are more intuitive, you know, they are more intuitive, like many of the animals, you know. They have less of that kind of reasoning and using reasoning and logics, it's more of intuitive feeling some things, and responding and reacting according to that intuitive feelings, whereas human being has this ability, to use reasoning, logics, contemplative, and that is, in our spiritual path, we need those, a lot of those contemplative meditations, analytical meditations. We need to use many of those kind of reasoning, logics, contemplative, how things are impermanent, ever-changing, how things are dependent arisings, with many different point of view from many different reasoning logics, how we and all the sentient beings are same, equal, and through that kind of contemplation, they're trying to develop love and compassion, mochi, that was all sentient beings, because it doesn't come just intuitively, instantly. We have to contemplate over the time before we start to really feel that way. So that is why. So from that point of view, human life is regarded more precious, more potential from that point of view, for that reason, especially for the reason of engaging our spiritual path. In engaging and making progress and improvement in our spiritual path. Of course, also because of such mind, if we don't use this properly, it can be also very powerful for distractions. That is the human minds, such as animal, even they become distracted. Let's say one very powerful animal, whether it's a wild elephant, whether it's a tiger, snow lion, mountain lion, one of the most powerful. How much destruction they can do to others, to the world, is very limited. But with human beings, one person can destroy this planet. One person can take the life of all human beings. The whole living beings here can destroy that. On other side, on the positive side, also, because of all that mind, if you use it in the right way, correctly, positively, also, unlike an animal, how intelligent they are, how kind they are, okay. The influence they can have to make the more betterness of the whole world, all animal species, all the living beings in the planet, also very limited. They might be able to definitely help, influence, be positive for a certain number of their species, or not only their species, maybe even animal, even other species like human beings. You hear about animals saving human beings. Different animals saving human beings. Not only their species, but other species of animal, not only species of animal, even the human beings, So they can also do a good out of compassion. But, if you think one animal to really change the whole world positively, is very limited. Whereas one human being can make huge difference in this world. One person can make huge difference if they use their mind correctly, out of true love, compassion to the humanity, to the all sentient beings, and with their great mind, intelligent mind, with the wisdom, with that, the compassion and wisdom mind, if they use it directly, they can make huge difference to the whole humanity, to the whole living beings in this earth, to the whole planet itself. So definitely there is. And then especially when it comes to spiritual practice, Dharma practice, and so that is we're talking about. We can compare with many other beings, but I'm not going to compare with other beings which we cannot see at the moment. Okay, where in Dharma they speak of not only there are beings not only we can see, such as animals and human beings, something like one of the beings, different beings that we can see, but also there are other beings that we might not be able to see it, but that exist. And even compared to all other beings within the samsara realm, the human beings have the best condition to practice the Dharma. Different beings have different qualities, which is better than another beings, unique or better quality than others. But when it comes to practicing the spiritual path, the Dharma itself, then the best is the human beings. And so I'm not going to, at the moment, I'm not going to kind of compare and discuss with others at the moment, just that. If you are more interested to learn more all of that, then you can read those Lumbering, Precious Human Rebirth, and they talk about 18 qualities, and then you can go through all of that. I'm not going to go one by one, okay? And not all human beings have those 18 qualities, okay? Not all human beings have those 18 qualities. Of course, 18 qualities are just some number you find in scriptures. It doesn't mean that it's just only 18 qualities. It could be more true too. So. And with those 18 qualities, then is 8 of them is known as leisure of freedom. 8 leisure of freedom. And that means, freedom from state that does not have freedom to practice the Dharma. Some of them in non-human realms, they have the obstacle to practice the Dharma. External obstacle, internal obstacle. Some of them external obstacles, because the pain and suffering is too intense. You cannot concentrate and think. Do you get it? Even in human beings, even in our case, sometimes it happens when you have so much pain, you cannot meditate, you cannot concentrate. Your mind is too occupied by that pain. Only thing you can think how to reduce that pain, how to relieve that pain, because it's so intense, because so strong. All the thoughts is taken by that. So due to that, in certain in certain realms, the suffering is so strong, intense, so they don't have. In some others realms and beings, even they don't have that kind of intense pain and sufferings, not even same level of pain and suffering we experience in human life, but their mind is too distracted. So physically, they don't have that obstacle, but they have obstacle with their mind. being too distracted. And also in human beings, we see certain level of sometimes you have physical health, good health, you don't have any physical pain, but our mind get all over. Our mind disturbed by so many things, and we cannot concentrate. In that moment, we cannot concentrate. Even you try to meditate, practice, your mind is not there, it's all over. Too distracted. So here, when we say that a freedom of leisure is saying those human beings, not all the human beings, those human beings, who are free from those 8 obstacles, who are free from those 8 obstacles to practice the Dharma. So then, the 8 leisure of freedom and 10 endowment or richness. So that's how different translations sometimes they. And that means the 10 conducive conditions to practice the Dharma. You are free from the 8 obstacles and have the freedom to practice. Not only you are free from the obstacles, but you have all the conducive conditions to practice the Dharma. And so and to have such all the qualities, all 18 qualities, free from all the 8 obstacles, and have gathered all the 10 conditions, is what we call precious human life. So even among humans, they are even more precious in terms of they have better opportunity to practice the Dharma. When you say more precious, it doesn't mean you are more supreme than others. Do you get it? It doesn't mean you are more supreme than other human beings who doesn't have those conditions. It doesn't mean we are more supreme than animals or other beings. It just means you have better opportunity, better condition to practice the Dharma. Some others, they have obstacles. Some others, they don't have all the right conducive conditions. And so we try to reflect on that, and then when you go through each of them, then when you realize, you have all these 18 qualities, then you start to feel, no matter what all obstacles, no matter how much obstacles and challenges I have in my life on different levels, sometimes physical level, sometimes in our job, our financial situation, sometimes in our relations, all of that, but still to realize that I have those incredible, how my life is so precious because I have all these qualities that not everyone has. Not everyone has. Even if we look in this world, even among humans, one, it is mentioned, with the scriptures, there are times what we call dark age, Kali Yuga, when Dharma is not available. Because at that time, the karma of sentient beings are not ripened, and so therefore, there's no Dharma, If we are born in such time, even we want to practice Dharma, there's no resource to receive the Dharma. Dharma is not available. We are born in a time when Dharma is still available. If you are interested, if you have the wish and interest, it is still available. And of course, it is said, the Buddha does not appear all the time. Neither even when Buddha appears, the Buddha teaches all the time. Because Buddha appears only when sentient beings karma ripening, and when there's help. And also he only teach when the karma is ripening. So there are certain times when karma is not ripening, the Buddha doesn't appear, even he appear doesn't teach. So we are in a time when Buddha has appeared not long ago, and he gave teachings, and his teachings are still available. Even though it's available in the world, but in all these parts of the world, a lot of people cannot practice, due to many different conditions. There's a restrictions by the government or by certain, you don't have freedom to practice what you want. You have to, if you practice, you can be in prison. You can lose. So like, even in Tibet, and many parts of the world, even you have interest, there's a lot of fear to study and practice that. And if you are caught, you could get in trouble. So therefore, we are in a place where you have the freedom. If you have interest and if you wish to practice, you have freedom to study and practice as much as you want without feeling the fear, without being, in danger of putting your life in prison and so forth. That is not the case for every human being in this world. We have to understand and feel grateful and gratitude to have this, freedom and opportunities, In some cases, there's a restrictions by the government. Sometimes there's a restrictions by your families, your societies, because you could be outcast from your society, your families, if you practice. So therefore, even you had a wish, you cannot practice because you don't want to be outcast, you don't want to be, thrown away from your society, your friends, several friends and families, Again, so we are very fortunate that we are not in that kind of situations, not in that kind of circumstances, And in certain part of the world, in certain places, even you don't have all this pressure and all these obstacles, even you are not constrained by all this. Sometimes the Dharma is not available there. No center, no teachers, I have met many students in Nepal and other places, where they're so interested and inspired by the Dharma and they want to study and practice, but there is no centers, teachers around the place where they are. It's not available there. So then, even they have the interest, slowly they lose their interest when they don't have access to that. And then unable to continue to practice, continue to grow in your spiritual path. Again, we are very lucky and to have that kind of, environment where Dharma is available, where you have Sangha, where, and sometimes even Dharma is available, you can kind of study by yourself through reading, by watching. You can definitely learn something, but it's not same when you are by learning by just by yourself. When you don't have access to the Sangha, someone that can help you to inspire, when you feel low, when you feel, kind of lazy or uninspired, where the other Sangha members can help you to inspire, that's what helps Sangha. Being a monastery, sometimes I feel like I want to go to bed early, 9:30, 10. Then you started all the other monks studying. Then you feel like, how can I go when everyone's studying, Even though you can go, but that inspires you to stay a little bit further and study, On the other hand, everyone's sleeping. Even you want to study, then you feel like what I'm doing, everyone's sleeping. Maybe I should also sleep. That is how people around you can influence you, and so the Sangha really help, in that way, supporting each other, inspiring each other, and to have these Dharma conversations, I always say, the role of Sangha is support each other, to support each other on spiritual level. And of course, if we can support not only spiritual level, also beyond that, that is even wonderful. But Sangha is to support each other spiritually. The teachers, you see once a while. You don't have access all the time. But with Sangha, you have more in the, you see more, you interact more, and you have more easy access. And so that is when you have any kind of spiritual crisis or spiritual doubt or any spiritual difficulty, try to talk with other members, try to discuss with other members. And they can share their experience and their view. Through that kind of discussion and sharing, you can support each other. One of the, advice our teachers in the monastery give all the time in it, they say your classmates, your Sanghas are even more important than your teachers. Because with our teacher, we go to class, 45 minutes, 1 hour, hour and a half. But with our classmates, we spend whole day, most time. And that's the way, through your discussions, through your interactions, that's how you support each other. That's where you interact more and you learn more from each other. That's the support. So what I was talking, because even some individuals, they have personal interests, but when they don't have Sangha members, it's hard. It's hard to practice when you don't have that support. And so again, it is we are so fortunate to have that kind of the Sangha, the support of the Sangha, to have the Sangha community, and to have access to the teachers, Even we can learn from book and, watching YouTube, whatever other sort of, it's not same learning from a in persons where you can, whenever you have any kind of questions, doubt, where you can ask so that there is no misunderstanding. When there is no one to say, you can always misinterpret it and misunderstand it. And you can sometimes, your meditation might not be, just by reading and watching, you can go in the wrong direction too. So anyway, so therefore to have For many, they don't even have access to the books, all of that, and for some even they have access. If they don't have access to the teachers and the sangha, then again it is another obstacles or more difficult, more challenges. So again, we don't have that. We are free from that and have gathered that conditions. And also, if we are born, even we are as a human being, if we are born with certain damage to our brains, faculties, it will not be easy. It will not be easy, to practice. Even with not damaged faculty, we struggles. Not easy, all my sense faculties, even biologically, my mind is not damaged. I don't have problem with that. At least it seems like. I don't know if I do a brain scale, maybe they might find something. But it seems like. But even with that, sometimes it's not easy to practice the Dhamma. And then when you have, defect or, in your faculties, and that it makes you more difficult, more challenging, much more difficult. So, at least, we have, and then, even you are born as a human beings, even places where Dharma is available, places where you have the Sangha, even the places where you have the teachers, qualified teachers, even when your sense faculty are undefected and good, if you don't have interest, that's it. Dharma can be all over yourself, surrounding, but if you have no interest, that's it. Interesting, sometimes I met a lot of people when I was in Nepal, people coming from all over the world to study Dharma, meditations, to realize there is center just their neighborhood. They have never realized that before. They are passing by there, everything, but somehow it doesn't register in their mind. They see the buildings, they see the some people, somehow it doesn't register in their mind. They have to come all the way to the Asia to find out and realize actually there is a Dharma center just very close to their house or neighbor that, Yeah. And so sometimes, even you have surrounded by all centers around you and Sangha and all, you have no interest. At least we have the interest. At least we have the interest. Not everyone has that interest. If you don't have interest, you are not going to practice. You are not going to engage in that Dharma practice, a spiritual path. To do that, you have to have the interest. But not every human beings have that interest. Again, from that perspective, to feel grateful, appreciative, have that interest, and because that interest, that it allow or give us opportunity to study and practice and to make progress. And even we are not perfect, even we are not perfect, even maybe we are not at a stage where we want to be. At least we have the interest, at least we are trying to study and practice, according to our own understanding, our own level. Through that kind of effort, trying to study and practice according to our level, after months in the year, we do make small progress. We do make small progress, and we do make small progress and go in the right directions. So again, not everyone's, sometimes even people have interest, they lose the interest. They have interest at the very beginning, and due to certain circumstance or condition, they lose the interest, and then they lose their path. Again, I see that in many centers when I'm visiting and everywhere. And they have some obstacles, and then they don't go, and then that slowly they forget. Maybe sometimes they have some issue in their life in that moment, so that they couldn't continue to study, they continue to practice. There's some situation happening in their life, and then they got distant from the not being able to make it time to go study, time to practice, and then slowly you become kind of get distracted to other things, and slowly you kind of lose the interest. In our cases, at least we haven't reached that point at the moment, and we are still on. So that is the meditation. You reflect, contemplate on all of that, and then through that kind of reflection, contemplations, you begin to feel, how fortunate, how lucky, how precious I am, to have all this, the best condition or right conducive condition to practice and free from the obstacles. That is the key. Through those contemplation, meditation, the point is to feel that, to feel how fortunate, how lucky, how fortunate I am. Every day we try to think, every day we try to feel how fortunate I am, how lucky I am, how grateful I am to have this life, despite all different challenges. And being appreciative of having life with such a. So that is one part of meditations in relation to the precious human rebirth. And then other meditations is, trying to meditate on the preciousness of this human life, in a sense that, if we can utilize it properly, the potential it has. It has potential to be happy in this life. It has the potential to, if we practice correctly and put in right state, really practice the Dharma, we can be happy in this life. And from Buddhist point of view, we can be happy and have a better life and more happy life in the futures. Not only that, we can achieve, the happiness of liberation, nirvana. Not only that, we can achieve the ultimate happiness of fully enlightened. And we have that potential. We have that potentials. The potential is incredible, unbelievable, as Lama Sobhata was saying, unbelievable. That is how much potential we have. We don't really recognize our own potentials. We don't really recognize at this point. We don't really recognize our full potentials. When you don't really recognize our full potential, then we feel like life is worthless when you struggle in some small things. Do you get it? When you are unable to achieve something, small something, when you are unable to, get certain things that you want to achieve, accomplish, or when things doesn't go according to the way you want, in small here and there, sometimes we might feel in this life is worthless. That just clearly shows that we have not fully understood and grasped the full potential of our life. Those are nothing. We have the potential to achieve ultimate happiness if we put in the right directions. If we put our life and practice in the right direction, we can achieve the ultimate happiness, everlasting ultimate happiness. There's nothing more precious than to be able to achieve that, and we can achieve that, and we have that potential to achieve that. And not only we have the potential to achieve ultimate happiness over ourselves, we also have an incredible potential to help others to achieve their ultimate happiness. Not only we have potential to achieve true lasting inner peace, happiness, joyfulness, but we have incredible potential to help, to support and help others to achieve that too. Not only to achieve temporary some sort of happiness, but to achieve the ultimate happiness. So again, reflecting, contemplating that, again, it helps us to recognize and understand, how much potential this life has, and therefore, how precious it is, and therefore, you don't want to, no matter how challenging and difficult, you never thoughts come to end your life. When you don't see that potential, then when things go difficult, then we might think, ending the life might be best. Sometimes for certain individuals, they might feel that way. In certain difficult times, challenging times. But someone who have felt, someone who have recognized profoundly, deeply, the potential of this life, how much potential it has, you will never, such thought doesn't come, and you will not do that. And when you have that understanding, even when it's very difficult, you feel every moment is very precious. Every moment of your life becomes precious. Even you are not feeling physically well, but still you feel it's worthwhile, meaningful to have one more day, to have one more week, to have one more month, to have one more year, instead of feeling like I'm done. Because physically it's challenging, physically. Because you see, even though it's physically challenging, but if you use your mind correctly, you are able to utilize your mind, you can make huge progress on your spiritual path in that 1 year, in that 1 month, in 1 week, even maybe in 1 day. So then there's less complaint and unhappiness about your life. And I think that is one of the things that I feel like I found a little kind of difference. When I visited old age elderly house in West, within America, Europe, or when I go to, like within Nepal, especially in where area where I grew up, within the Tibetan community and so forth. But, there's a different approach, a way of looking at life. I've seen in here, people are lifeless. A lot of time is lifeless. They feel like just waiting, feel like there's no meaning in life anymore because they cannot do things they used to do. They cannot drive, they lose their independence. They cannot travel and do things they used to enjoy doing, different entertainment, sports, whatever. They feel like they cannot go to their favorite restaurant, all of that. So then they feel like there's no meaning in their life. And it seems sometimes you can see in their face, there's no smile, there's no really true smile. You can see. But like, in some of those cultures, even my mom, for example, because of her other eyes, probably her last 10, 15 years, she didn't go out. She was confined in the house, She could go, barely get out, a lot of effort, sitting, a lot of effort each time. She's able to go to the bathroom and go and come and go within the house, but hardly been outside. But I can see the pain, physical pains, and the physical pains. But she's still very happy, joyful, cheerful, and feel every moment is precious. Every moment she used to do her prayers, mantras, continue to get up in the very early morning, even before me. My father, my mom, they used to get at 3:30, 4 in the morning, and they start their practice prayers, and they do throughout the day, and until they go to bed, 9, 8:30, 9, and so they see there's something meaning in their life because they see, each moment precious, because you don't know what holds in the futures. And this is something that what you have at the moment. You have this precious life. You have this precious opportunity to practice as much as you can because you cannot predict the future. So they don't want to lose that opportunity. The opportunity that's already in your hand. You don't want to lose that. You want to make most of it. And that's what they try to do. And so there is that I see even those old age homes, there's much more cheerfulness. There's much more, despite physically in similar situations, they cannot go, they lose their independence, they cannot do anything they used to do, and they are very dependent on others, all of that. But there's different feeling, there's much more joy. There's much more joy. Yeah, you can see in their face the true smiles, laughings, and because they don't feel like they are, their life, there's no more meaning in their life because they feel every moment is meaningful because every moment gives them another time, another precious time, whether it's 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, to do more practice. And to do practice, of course, different people might have different practices according to their levels. People who, some of them might do more advanced meditation practices, who have learned, who can do. People who have not been able to have opportunity to learn, more advanced meditation practice, they might just do more simple practice meditations, certain prayers, mantras, and all of that. But basically, so that was what I was trying to say. That's And that is one of the things that give us as child comfort to see that. It will be so hard for the child if you see your parent, feeling there's no meaning in their life, and just because of that feeling, there's no real life. There's no real life. And that would be the one of the biggest pain to see that. But to see them, despite their physical challenges and all of that, but on emotional or mental level, to see that joy, certain level of joy, meaning in their life, purpose in their life, moment by moment, that is personally for me, and not only me, all of my brothers, that's what we're very happy about it, sense of comfort, even for us. Less suffering and pain. We will have experienced much more pain and suffering if we saw them, without any purpose. If they felt like without any purpose and meaning in the later part of life, and being very unhappy about that because of that. So I think maybe I got a little bit sidetracked. But I was talking about this particular meditation on the potentials, of the human life, this precious human life, and then having a deep and profound understanding of that could make huge difference. And not only that, such precious human life is not easy to often achieve again and again, at least from Buddhist point of view. So many causes and conditions have to come together to have human life, not only human life, precious human life, not only precious human life with all 18 qualities. It requires so many causes and conditions. And those causes and conditions are not always easy to practice. And therefore, if the cause is very rare, the result becomes rare and not easy. And therefore, since it's not easy, we cannot take for granted saying, oh, even I don't practice this time, maybe I can practice next lifetime. We can do that, maybe not today, tomorrow, not this week, next week, not this month, next month, not this year, next year, not this 5 years, maybe next 5 years. And then slowly, not this life, maybe next life, as though we have for sure that life. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. It's not easy and rare. And therefore, again, with that meditation and understanding, then we begin to see we cannot take for granted and what holds in the future, what is there in the present. What is there is the present. We have this human life. Make most of it now. Make best of it. Make it meaningful. That is the conclusion, that meditation, to make our life meaningful, purposeful, not wasting it, the opportunity. Sometimes we waste this life and then make prayers, may I have future human life and make practice in that. If you cannot use this, what is the guarantee you will practice next life? Even you have that life. There's no guarantee that we could have such human life with all these opportunity conditions. Supposedly, even you have that. What is the guarantee you will practice there? Sometimes our mind is, may I have a good human life and to be able to practice in the future and not putting effort to make most of it here now. hoping for something which is not sure, and something which is already there, not using it. It's like food is there, and if you are hungry, to eat it, and then, making prayers and wishing, may I have food tomorrow, which might come, might not come, and not taking the what is there and to solve that problem. So that is so at the end of all meditation is really feel the preciousness of this life and wanting to make it meaningful with a higher purpose, not wanting to waste it and trying to make best of it. And the way to make it meaningful, most of it, best of it, is to engage in our spiritual path, our spiritual practice. And that is the only thing that can make you more meaningful. That is the most meaningful. And with that understanding and feeling of urgency, then we try to practice the Dharma, without wasting as much as we can whenever possible in terms of studying, practice, without postponing, but immediately try to practice as much as we can, every day, every month, every week, every month, every year. And if we practice that way, then your life becomes meaningful. Year by year, it becomes your life. When you think of our life, it seems like so long way to go. It feels like, I might not be able to practice my whole life, 50 years, 60 years, 20 years. It seems so long. But just try to think, practice just 1 year. Year by year makes the life. If you think 1 year to practice is too long, you just think a month. And month by month, make a year. If you think months is too long, think of 1 week. Go with 1 week. Week by week, months, month by month, year by year, make your life. And so that is how we can. So that is it. I think that is the today's topics. Okay. So I can take a couple of questions if you have questions, if anyone has questions. Yes, Joe, Mary Jo.
I'm not sure this is the appropriate time, but I think you're leaving real soon. I'd like to know more about the Sangha. Are we a Sangha here, or does that require more people in robes? It seems like I read something about 3 people at least or more in robes. What do you say?
I would say you are excluded from the Sangha. No, joking. No, generally speaking, when if you go more specific, then Sangha is a community of ordained and lay people. In some it is like ordained monks, and then novice monks, so 2, and then within the lay practitioners, male and female, who have those who have the lay vows, upasakas. So that community is a kind of Sangha, generally. And of course, sometimes in certain, the way, it also depends on how you use. Sometimes people, when this is Sangha, it refers to the ordained communities, okay? The community of monks and nuns. But it doesn't just mean that community of just monks and nuns. It's the community of Dharma practitioners. So definitely it is a Sangha. It depends on how every term has different way of interpreting it, very what you call loosely, or very kind of what you call the other ones, precise or very didactic. So it depends on how you interpret it. It loosely interpretation Sangha is the community of Dharma practitioners, brothers and sisters of the Dharma practitioners. That is, when you try to go very specific, then it becomes community of both the lay practitioners and the ordained community. Yeah.
It seems to me like in our group, we feel quite lost without a teacher.
Mhm.
And that's kind of our focal point is having a teacher, a qualified teacher here. But maybe we're missing the boat there.
I think yes, to some degree. I think you have to come with some way where you can have discussions among yourself. If not every week at certain times, and there will always be Sangha members who have more experience, who have been with Dharma more, and then new Sangha members, and they can kind of share and discuss. That is one of the things that should be happening. Not just relying on one teacher all the time. The teachers comes and goes, and different teachers comes and goes. But Sangha is there, so how can you support Sangha each others? That's very important for the stability of the Sangha. The Sangha doesn't disappear or broke when the teacher is no more there. It shouldn't be that. That is not healthy. Whether the teacher is there or no more there, that the Sangha should continue to practice, study, and together and support each others. So doing practice together, even though teachers know this, doing practice together sometimes, discussions, so that is one of the things that you can do. You can do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So then we can do the dedications.
Actually, we should do the dedication prayers, and then we'd like to offer a mandala to you.
Okay, then what you can do is you can read the dedication list.
Okay.
And then we can do the mantra and do the prayer.
Okay.
They can pray.
We dedicate the merit created by listening to these wonderful teachings to all sentient beings, especially our teachers, but also specifically for people experiencing obstacles, such as Jessica, Moses H., Liam and sister, Juliana H., Ali P., Cordia S., Robin W., Rolf, Andrea, Morocco victims, Margaret and John, Regina L., Mary J., Alyssa, Laura, Yvonne B., Lorraine G., all suffering from bitterness, strife, ignorance, and misunderstandings. Daryl Handrick, John Jennings. We also dedicate for those experiencing illness, specifically Rolf, Elena P., Hillary B., Gerard S., Rick M., John, Jim B., Christine G., Terry Bird, Kelly Hauser, Linda W., Patty, Evan Martinez, Tony, Suzanne, Ali P., Ali J., Daryl Handrick, J.M. and Brandy. And we also dedicate for those who have died or who are dying. Bill Richardson, Norm, Libyan flood victims, Morocco beings, Jay Bunker, David L, CH, Trisha U, Nuredia, all beings in areas of conflict, Yvonne M, Bill Porter, those who were killed in the mass shootings in Maine last night.
Okay, or maybe we can do dedication first. And also we can keep, you know, to solve all the problem in the Middle East with Ukraine, and you know, to solve the problem quickly, you know, without so much suffering, pain. So try to keep that in our prayer, without the problem getting out of control and becoming cause of so much suffering for more people, and to be able to find the solutions where there's less pain and suffering, and everyone who have died, you know, and everyone who has been affected physically, mentally, emotionally. So we also keep all of them in our prayer and dedications.
So we'll do our dedication prayers. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I completely and say to the Lord God, and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel Bodhicitta, that rests not religion, may I be out in heaven with my happiness, but increase more and more. On the next page, we'll do the long life prayers for our teachers, starting with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The wish granting wish to fulfilling tools, to every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incumbent reconstituted I receive. May all of your wishes be Christ. And for Lord Lokita, Lama Yeshe's reincarnation, Venerable One, to you the time is that of all conquerors, with those wanderers in far-off places that bring us. Mindful of your loving concern for us, the intention of sending again into a family of far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please make law. And our prayer for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the glorious one. Beloved of the Buddha's victorious soul, Father and Son, Allah, and his masters. All attached to the faith in the lands. This is the stubborn permission, accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holy and spreading the place to ethics and completion. Through explanation and practice, you hold the revelation that have never discovered. Incomparable and goodness. Once guiding single-pointed for the sake of visualize one's teaching, the whole gave way to and everlasting peace. You suddenly departed to peace. What you lost, nevertheless, you the blessed and the great ways of his may they abide with the incarnations with your good making Lord for the Yeah. Done.